Right, put the kettle on and get comfy, because we're hopping in the time machine and setting the dial to 1980. Blondie was on the radio, and somewhere in an ITV studio, people were turning kitchen utensils into puppets and making television magic. It was, in short, an excellent year to be small and glued to the telly, even if you had to get up to turn the channel yourself. From talking cutlery to crime-fighting monster teenagers, this was a year children's television well and truly lost its mind, in the best way possible. So let's meet the shows that made their first appearance in 1980 and find out just how strange and how brilliant the year 1980 really was. Bric-a-Brac was one of those charming BBC children's programmes that turned the simplest ideas into something memorable. Created by Michael Cole and Nick Wilson, the series first aired in October 1980, with a second run following in 1982. Presented by the ever-popular Brian Cant, the programme was set inside a fictional bric-a-brac shop filled with curious objects just waiting to be discovered. Each 10-minute episode focused on a different letter of the alphabet. As the friendly shopkeeper searched through shelves of old treasures, he introduced viewers to objects beginning with that day's letter, often using clever alliteration, tongue twisters, and playful storytelling to bring the language to life. It was an entertaining way to encourage young children to listen, learn, and enjoy words. One of the programme's most memorable moments came at the end of every episode, when Brian Cant wound up a traditional clockwork toy and watched it spring into action as the closing credits rolled. Although simple in its presentation, Bric-a-Brac captured the imagination of countless young viewers and became a familiar part of BBC children's television throughout the early 1980s, with repeats continuing for several years afterwards. Richie Rich brought the world's richest little boy to Saturday morning television in an animated series produced by Hanna-Barbera. Based on the popular Harvey Comics character, the show first premiered in November 1980 and ran until September 1984, introducing viewers to a world where incredible wealth led to extraordinary adventures. Rather than focusing on everyday life, each episode saw Richie using his vast fortune, remarkable inventions and loyal friends to tackle villains, uncover hidden treasures and travel to far-flung locations. Alongside his faithful butler Cadbury, his robot maid Irona, his loyal dog Dollar and his best friend Gloria, Richie often found himself protecting the world from criminals, mysterious masterminds and even alien threats. The series became a regular part of ABC's Saturday morning lineup, appearing alongside several other well-known Hanna-Barbera favourites. It also marked the first major voice acting role for Nancy Cartwright, who would later become famous as the voice of Bart Simpson. Packed with colourful animation, imaginative gadgets and exciting adventures, Richie Rich brought the classic comic book character to life, and remains one of Hanna-Barbera's memorable animated series from the early 1980s. The Fonz and the Happy Days gang took one of television's most popular sitcoms and gave it an unexpected animated twist. Produced by Hanna-Barbera, the series first premiered in November 1980 and ran until November 1981. It reunited Henry Winkler, Ron Howard and Don Most, who all returned to voice their famous characters from Happy Days. Rather than staying in 1957 Milwaukee, the cartoon sent Fonzie, Richie Cunningham and Ralph Malphin on adventures through time. After helping a visitor from the future named Cupcake repair her time machine, an accident leaves the group stranded in different periods of history. Accompanied by Fonzie's talking dog Mr. Cool, they travel from ancient civilizations to the distant future, meeting unusual characters and trying to find their way home. With its blend of science fiction, comedy and adventure, the series was unlike anything fans of the original sitcom might have expected. Each episode combined action, humour and history, while still giving Fonzie plenty of opportunities to save the day with his trademark confidence and cool attitude. It remains one of Hanna-Barbera's most unusual animated spin-offs and a memorable part of Saturday morning television from the early 1980s. Heathcliff made his leap from the comic strips to Saturday morning television in October 1980 with an animated series produced by Ruby Spears Productions. Based on George Gately's mischievous Orange Cat, the show ran until December 1981 and introduced young audiences to Heathcliff's cheeky adventures and love of causing trouble wherever he went. Each episode featured 2 Heathcliff cartoons, with the first series paired alongside the original adventures of Dingbat and the Creeps, while the second series teamed Heathcliff with the famous comic strip dog Marmaduke. Whether outsmarting the local dog catcher, stealing a tasty meal, or playing practical jokes around the neighbourhood, Heathcliff always seemed to land on his feet, thanks to his confidence and quick thinking. The title character was voiced by the legendary Mel Blanc, whose distinctive performance perfectly captured Heathcliff's playful personality. Filled with slapstick comedy, colourful characters, and light-hearted adventures, the series became a popular part of ABC's Saturday morning lineup and helped introduce the comic strip favourite to a new generation of viewers before a second animated adaptation arrived a few years later. Bric-a-Brac put a heroic spin on the classic movie monsters when it arrived on CBS in September 1980. Produced by Hanna-Barbera's Australian studio, the series ran for 16 episodes and followed 3 teenage descendants of legendary monsters who used their unusual powers to fight crime instead of causing it. The team consisted of Drac Jr., the great-great-nephew of Count Dracula, Frankie, descended from Frankenstein's monster, and Howler, a young werewolf. Whenever danger appeared, the trio placed their hands together, shouted "Wacko!" and transformed into their monster alter egos in a move known as the Drac Whack. Travelling in their flying amphibious car, the Dragster, they battled the evil Dr. Dread and his OGRE organisation, while receiving guidance from Count Dracula himself, affectionately known as Big D. Blending superhero action with comedy and classic horror characters, Bric-a-Brac offered a fresh take on some of fiction's most famous monsters. With colourful villains, imaginative gadgets, and plenty of fast-paced adventures, it became one of the more unusual Hanna-Barbera cartoons of the early 1980s, giving Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, and the Wolfman's descendants a chance to become the heroes instead of the villains. Button Moon became one of British children's television's most recognisable programmes when it first appeared on ITV in December 1980. Created by Ian Allen and produced by Thames Television, the series ran until December 1988, with 91 episodes taking young viewers on imaginative adventures using everyday household objects brought to life as colourful characters. At the heart of the series was Mr. Spoon, who lived on Junk Planet with Mrs. Spoon and their daughter Tina Teaspoon. In every episode, Mr. Spoon climbed aboard his homemade rocket, built from ordinary kitchen items, and flew across blanket sky to Button Moon. Along the way, he met unusual characters, explored new places, and looked through his telescope to watch stories unfold before returning home in time for tea. With its inventive props, gentle storytelling, and memorable theme song, Button Moon showed that a little imagination could transform the simplest objects into an exciting world of adventure. Its unique homemade style helped it stand out from other children's programmes of the time, making it a familiar and much loved part of British television throughout the 1980s.
And that's a wrap on 1980. A year that gave us a talking spoon family, a wisecracking orange cat, 3 monsters with a very tidy transformation routine, and a rich kid with his own robot maid, all somehow arriving within 12 months of each other. Honestly, if you'd pitched half of these shows in a meeting today, someone surely would have quietly shown you the door. But that's exactly what made this era so much fun. Nobody was playing it safe, and children's telly was all the more richer for it. If one of these shows brought back a memory you completely forgotten you had, go tell someone about it, and tell them about us. They'll either know exactly what you mean or think you've made the whole thing up. Either way, thank you for hanging out with us today, and we'll catch you next time for another trip through the retro TV archives.